Good morning, everybody. Today we have the senior orthopedic Dr. Vinayaraj M Kelagadi. He is having more than 16 years of experience and more than 5,000 surgeries he has done. So he is well versed in orthopedic, and he works in Sparsh Hospital, Manipal Hospital, you name it, he is there. And he is a very renowned and very humble and very nice. I call him like Vinayaraj means he is Vinay K. Rajro. So welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will take ಎಲ್ಲ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಬಿಡೋಣ ಲೈಟ್
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ? ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಎಲ್ಲ PUC ಮುಗಿಸಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇಂಟು ಎನಿ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಆನ್ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಏನು ಕಲಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ? ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್? ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. Aspiring for UPSC this thing. ಹೇಗೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ? ಹೌ ಆರ್ ಯು ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್? It's totally different. UPSC background ಇದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ. If you are a fresh candidate in UPSC, it's totally different. Maybe stressful ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ. Number of hours to spend in studies, mental stress, body fatigue, ಇದೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So today I'm basically here to tell you about postures and how it affects your body, what you are supposed to do, how you are supposed to maintain your postures, to optimize your body functions, to optimize your mental abilities, increase its efficiencies, how to bring out the best out of you in that time. Basically, to tell a brief introduction about myself, I am basically from Kelagadi. Studied PUC in Kelagadi. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ MBBSಗೆ ಹುಬ್ಳಿಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ವಿ ನಾವು ಸೀಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ PUC ವೆನ್ ಯು ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು MBBS. ಟೋಟಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಫ್ರಮ್ PUC. ವಿಚ್ ಅವರ್ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇಂಟು? ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್? ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ, MSc, B.Tech. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. These are totally different fielding and awareness all of a sudden. From PUC you will be learning something. ನಮ್ಮ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ 98 ಅಲ್ಲಿ we were from state syllabus. So when you enter MBBS, totally it's a different way. The language itself is different. ಏನು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಇರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ MBBS ಹೋದಾಗ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಂಟೀರಿಯರ್, ಬ್ಯಾಕಿಗೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟೀರಿಯರ್, ಅಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್, ಕೆಳಗೆ inferior. So simple words are made so complex that you feel that different world and subject wise also biotechnology, biochemistry, physiology, anatomy. Start at you are suddenly exposed to a dead body. All of a sudden, there's a dead body here in front of you. You are supposed to sit. Not like a fresh body, almost decayed on the thread. So formalin smell. So those days you can remember. After the exposure, dissect ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಈ ಥರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಹೊಸ ಜನರು, ಹೊಸ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸು, ಹೊಸ ಟೀಚರ್ಸು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಇದ್ದಾಗ CBSE ಇಂದ ಒಂದು 10 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. 90 ಆಫ್ ದಮ್, ಈಗ 100 ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅಂದರೆ 90 ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ವರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್, 10 ಆಫ್ ದಮ್ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ CBSE ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಕಲಿತಾ ಇರೋದನ್ನು 2 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ದೇ ವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಸ್. ದೇ ವರ್ ವೇ ಅಹೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಈಸಿಲಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರು ಅವರು, ನಮಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ವರಿ, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಟು ಕೋಪ್ ಅಪ್ ವಿತ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ interact with us so that it's an interactive session. You also don't feel bored. Okay? So basically, our body is made up of musculoskeletal structures and adults ಅಲ್ಲಿ around 206 bones ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದಾಗ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 300 ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. 300 ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಶೇಪ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 1 year ಯಾರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಓಡಾಡೋಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇನ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಏನೂ ಬೀಳದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಹುಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಮಗು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಅದು ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗೇನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್, ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆದಂಗೆ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಏಜಿಂದನೇ ರೈಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್ ಏಜ್ ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 206 ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. 300 ಇರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಮರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಕೆಲೆಟಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಅನ್ಲೈಕ್ ಆ್ಯನಿಮಲ್ಸ್, ಈಗ ಆ್ಯನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 4 ಕಾಲ ಮೇಲೆ ಓಡಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬೈಪಿಡಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ 2 ಕಾಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತು ಓಡಾಡೋಂಗೆ ಇರ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಅವರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಈಗ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಥರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ವೀಕ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕಪ್ ನೋವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಓದೋದನ್ನು ಕೆಳಗೆ ನೋಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಟು ಟಾಲರೇಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೋಡ್ಸ್. ವೇರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆ್ಯನಿಮಲ್ಸ್, ಒಂದು ಹುಲಿ, ಸಿಂಹ, ಒಂದು ದನಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ಹೆಡ್ಸ್, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 8 to 10 kilos ಅಷ್ಟು ವೇಟ್ನ ನೆಕ್ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಹೆಡ್. ವೆರಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಹಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇವೊಂದು ಅವ್ರ ಬಾಡಿ ಹೆಡ್ ವೇಟ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 2 kg ಇದ್ರು ಒಂದು 10 minutes 15 minutes ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಆ ಥರ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನರಿ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ಪೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಡಿರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆ್ಯನಿಮಲ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೈನು ಈಗ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಸರ್ವೈಕಲ್ ಸ್ಪೈನು, ಥೊರಾಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಪೈನು, ಲಂಬಾರ್ ಸ್ಪೈನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೇಕಲ್ ಸ್ಪೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಕರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಸರ್ವೈಕಲ್ ಸ್ಪೈನು ಫ್ರಂಟಿಗೆ ಕರ್ವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಏನು ಅನಿಸಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಸೈಡಿಂದ ಹಿಂಗೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋನ್ ಇಸ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್. ಥೊರಾಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಪೈನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲಂಬಾರ್ ಸ್ಪೈನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೇಕಲ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು. ಸೊ ಇದರ ಟೋಟಲಿ 4 ಕರ್ವ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಕರ್ವ್ಸ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಗಲ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ಥರ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಕರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ರಂಟಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಈ ಥರ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಅಥವಾ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಈ ಥರ ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಟೈಫೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೋಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಟೀಸು, ಸ್ಕೋಲಿಯೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸ್ಕೋಲಿಯೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸೈಡ್ ವೇಸ್ ಹಿಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ದಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಥರ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಡಿಫಾರ್ಮಿಟೀಸಿಂದ ಬೋನ್ಸಿಂದ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅದರಿಂದನೂ ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಆ ಥರ ಶೇಪ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಅದೇ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ that is why it's very important to have a good posture to optimize your body functions. ಈಗ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಲಿ ಈಗ UPSC Aspirants ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಡೇ to 10 hours per day ಸ್ಟಡಿ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಓದೋದಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇವನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಹೆಕ್ಟಿಕ್. ಹಾಗೆ ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೇರ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಈಗ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂದು, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಟಾಲರೇಟ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್? ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರೇ, ಉಳಿದವರೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅವ್ರ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅಂದರೆ ಓಡಾಡೋದು ಮಾಡೋದು ಆ ಥರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಏನಾದರೂ? ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಡೆಸ್ಕ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಈ ಥರ ಚೇರ್, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಚೇರ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಇರೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ಕುಷನ್ ಚೇರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ವಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಂಕ್. ರಿಕ್ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಚೇರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಟು ಚೇರ್ ಹೈಟ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಾಗಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಫ್ರಂಟಿಂದ ಯುವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಜನರಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಟೆಂಡ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಗೋ ಡೌನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕರ್ವ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಈಗ ಇದು ಇದೆ. ಈಚ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಗೆ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಬೆಟರ್. ಈಗ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಈಗ ಮೇಲಿದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಕೈ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮೈ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಶೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಕೂಡ ಮೇಲೆ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದೋಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಗೆಟ್ ರೈಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು 5 minutes ಅದು ಟಾಲರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಫಟೀಗ್. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್. ಐದರ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಚೇರ್ ಹೈಟ್ನ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಅ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಈ ಥರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಟೈಪ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ರಾಂಗ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರನೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಹೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಐ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ 90 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ 1.5 to 2 feet ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಯುವರ್ ಎಲ್ಬೋಸ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಶೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸು ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಲೋಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಂಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಪಟ್ಟಿಗಾಗಿ ನೆಕ್ ಪೇನು, ಶೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಸ್ಟಿಫ್ನೆಸ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ನಾವು, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಈ ಥರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸನ್ನು ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಇದೆ, ವೀಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, 4 wheelersಗೆ. ವೈ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್? ಕಾರ್ ಓಡುತ್ತೆ, ವೀಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ವೈ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಟೆಲ್? ಒಂದು, ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ವೀಲ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೇ ಅಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟೈರ್ ಒಂದು ಸೈಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸೌದೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಅದರಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸು ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರೆಲ್ಲರ ಮೇಲೂ ವರ್ಕ್ಔಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಟು ಡೂ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಈಗ ಇದನ್ನೇನೋ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಈ ಥರ ಕೂತಾಗ ಯು ಆರ್ ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ಡ್, ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಥರ ಕೂತಾಗ ಯುವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಈಸ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಯು ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಬೈ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ, ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಈ ಥರ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಾಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಈ ಥರ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಶೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಬೋಸ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಹೈಟ್ ಈ ಥರ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಇದು ಬಟ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು 10 minutes ನೀವು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದಂಗೆ ನೀವು ಐದಾರು ಸಾಯ್ತೈತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಹಿಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್. ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಟ್ವಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಟೈಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈಗ ಈ ಥರ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ವೆರಿ ರಾಂಗ್ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್. ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ, ಲೋವರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾವು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಬೋ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಮೇಜರ್ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, so we'll be able to see if there is any changes happening in the elbow or shoulders, but in the spine we will not be able to see what is happening acutely. So small joints, and whenever there is a lot of wrong posture, there is wear and tear happening continuously. So 1 day, 2 days you will not notice any difference, but over a period of 5 years, 10 years, there will be a permanent damage in these joints. So it gets fixed on one side and it gets opened on the other side. Those kind of deformities will start developing. So there is a reason you might have heard about people saying, I have spondylosis, I have disc issues. These kind of issues you might have heard. If not for you, at least in your family or your friends telling that I have spondylosis. So these are all long-term effects. Naturally, it doesn't happen. It all depends on your postures. So as you go on maintaining the same wrong postures, it will have a long-term implications. So when your posture is wrong, it just doesn't affect your body. It affects all the organs also internally. How? So the kyphosis, if your body is like this, so your lungs are compromised. So the air entry is compromised because it is narrowed down. The air entry is compromised. You are putting more effort to take the same amount of oxygen. For example, if you take one breath in an erect posture, about 500 ml of oxygen can be inhaled. Whereas in this position or in the wrong position, the same amount of air, you need 2 or 3 breaths. And heart also has to function in the same increased weight. For example, if it has to pump about a liter of oxygen to the entire body, if it is efficient, 1 or 2 pumps is enough. But for abnormal postures and positions, it might need about 3 to 4 pumps. So fatigue, there is more energy expenditure, so you start getting fatigue. You start feeling tired. You are sitting. You might feel, I should not feel tired. But after some time, your body automatically starts feeling fatigue. So why? Because your postures are not maintained. All your muscles, if you are sitting like this, it's not that you are resting. Your muscles are holding tight to make you sit like this. So if you are tilting onto one side, your muscle on one side is contracting and the other side it is relaxing. So there is an imbalance. To make you straight, both should be equally contracted or both should be equally relaxed. So that is how you have to maintain your postures. Okay. So 90-90-90, there is a posture wherein As I told you, elbows will be at 90 degrees like this. Your spine to thighs, the hip angle, this is 90 degrees. Your knees should be at 90 degrees and the feet should be completely rested on the floor. Some people will step like this. This will eventually start straining the hip and the back. So when you are sitting side, so this should be free. The back side of the knee should be free and it should be in 90 degrees. Why? Because there are blood vessels coming from here going down. And if you keep it like this, like a bent position, so the blood flow is compromised. So there is not much of blood going down to the feet and toes. And the muscles in the legs, they start getting cramps because of reduced blood flow. Okay? Even the nerves which are coming from the back, they are going down to the thighs and to the legs. So these postures will compromise the space for them, thereby reducing their productivity. Okay? So these are the positions. Is sitting like this for long hours advised, even if you are sitting straight with the optimal position. What else are you supposed to go along with this? Okay, if you are just sitting, there is not much of activity going on in your lower limbs. So you have to be doing these knee and ankle movements, front and back with movements. Ankle movements every 5 to 10 minutes once, just keep 5 to 10 movements like this. So these movements contract the muscles and it helps pump the blood from the legs to the heart. Otherwise, stagnation and rigidity. If there are patients, none of you are obese. If there are people who are very obese, obesity you know, who are very obese, so they are more prone for issues like DVT and deep vein thrombosis. And there is not much of mobility, blood starts getting clotted in the veins. So those things, that clot might dislodge, go somewhere else and cause other issues in the heart, brain, lungs, everywhere. So it is so important to maintain postures and movements. So having a bad posture, still moving is better than having a good posture and not moving. Understood? If you are sitting in an awkward position but still if you are moving, that still helps some amount of circulation to happen. If you are having a good posture and if you are not doing anything, that will have a very bad outcome. This is about postures having in sitting position. In standing positions, when you are standing sideways, if you draw a line from the skull to the ankle, there is a straight line from the neck to the back of shoulders, to the back of the hips, into the knee joint and to the ankle. So each straight line is there, your posture is good. And if you see it from the straight, the central line, if you take like this, there is equal body weight distribution and your center of gravity is maintained at the hips, sacroiliac-ankle pelvis. So there your center of gravity is maintained. So that is the posture you have to maintain. But if you are tilting to one side like this, there is an imbalance here. So this on the long way starts affecting the joints in the spine, causing the degenerative changes. So that leads to spondylosis, disc issues, and herniations causing compression in the nerves, sciatica, you might have heard. So these kind of issues are mainly because of this. And when you are bending and getting down, suppose something falls down, suddenly you bend to the side and you try to lift it up. These are wrong things. You have to go down with your hips and knees bent, like this, and then take it and come back. Without bending the hip and knee, if you bend like this, it will strain your back and the muscles there. So that you have to avoid. These are in standing positions. Now coming to rest. So we think sleeping is a waste of time. At least in this time when you are studying and you have certain goals of achieving or cracking these exams, so you will not be wanting to waste time on sleeping. But that is wrong. So sleeping is as vital as we are breathing. Breathing is a function. Just like that, sleeping is also a vital function. You have to sleep. At least 7 to 8 hours of very good sleep is very much essential for both brain functions and all the bodily functions. Okay? So how it helps is, there is something called as hippocampus in our brain. This is an organ which registers all our studies, memories, everything is registered deep inside this brain. So if your sleep is inappropriate or inadequate, then that affects your brain functions gradually. It doesn't happen over 1 or 2 days, but gradually it starts affecting your brain functions. So the reason you have to have a very good and adequate sleep, and you shouldn't think that you are wasting time on sleeping. As much as you're studying and if you're not sleeping, so whatever you're studying, you're not going to remember or memorize it, and your functions of brain starts getting affected. So to sleep, what kind of mattress do you need to have? So a lot of people you might have heard about air beds, spring beds, or foam beds, those kind of beds. So for sleeping, you need to have a firm one, not foam, firm. It should not be very soft. When you lie down, the bed should not take your shape. Where the weight is more, it sinks in. Where the weight is less, it remains up. So you might take this shape. Or if you're turning to one side, again it goes like this, and your neck might tilt on one side. So to optimize that, you have to have a firm bed. Okay. So in lying down supine, supine is straight with your face up, you're sleeping. In that position, you need to have a good support under the neck. A pillow is essential. Many people think that pillow may or may not be essential. Some people might use a very thick pillow, some people might use a very thin pillow or a hard pillow. So those things are not good for the neck movements. So when you lie down, your neck and shoulders should come in one line. And there should be, because there is a curve anteriorly, to the front of the neck, there should be a pillow which is supporting the neck. Okay? And in the lower back, if you are lying down straight, there is no need of any support, but you need to keep a pillow underneath your knee joints to keep it flexed or bent. Okay? And if you are lying down to one side, you need to have a support under the cheek or the head. Otherwise, it can go like this. If there is no support, your neck can go and strain the muscles here and here. So why it is important? If neck muscle strains, to come back to normalcy, it may take about 7 to 10 days. In these 7 to 10 days, it might affect your day-to-day activities completely. It will be that excruciating pain you have if there is a neck strain. To turn on to one side, if there is a neck strain, if somebody is calling you on from the right side, now you'll be turning like this if you're normal. But if there is a strain in the muscle and if somebody calls you, you'll be like this. So only your eye will move. It will be difficult for you to move. That is the amount of pain you have. So either you turn like this when they call, or you just move your eyes that side. Suppose if you have to look upwards, you have to lie down and look. Because it's difficult to move, there is a strain. It affects your efficiency in this time. So you have all settled, you have cracked some UP exam, you have into some post, then you will have time. But now it's very important, each and every day counts. So you have to see that you don't get subjected to these kind of issues, posteriorly issues. Okay? If you are lying down prone, some people will have the habit of lying face down. Okay? In that position, pillow is essential. Your neck can turn to one side. You have to have a pillow underneath your abdomen. And keep it supported when you lie down. Don't lie down flat. So pillow on the abdomen and then lying prone will help. Okay? So these are sleeping positions, and the importance of sleep I have already told you. Coming to the health of bones. Okay? So bones are basically made up of calcium. So calcium and vitamin D, these are very much essential for metabolism of the bone. So calcium, anybody can tell what are the sources from where do you get calcium? Good sources. Milk, and then how many of you are vegetarians and how many of you are non-vegetarians? First finish calcium and vitamin. What are the sources? Basically common sources will be there. So more of this fish, cod liver oil, and you might have heard when you're doing your parents or some doctors might have suggested you to take one capsule per day. Cod liver oil, cod is a kind of fish. So there are a high saturated fat otherwise it will have vitamin D and calcium. So salmons, fish, eggs, and among vegetarian sources, spinach, palak, and that. Ragi is a very good source. Fruits, vegetables. So these all will have enough of calcium. So this on a regular way we need to be consuming these foods. So towards our body calcium requirement per day about 800 to 1200 milligrams of calcium is essential per day. So that amount of calcium if you are supplying, your body weight, your bone health and muscle health can be maintained very well. If not, what happens if there is less calcium? The bones start becoming weak. Osteoporosis and that. So after will not have the strength even to sit or even to perform day-to-day activities, or trivial injury can cause fractures. So those kind of things might affect your functions. So to maintain that, you have to have a good diet. Okay? So diet, supplements are like vitamin D. What it does is it helps in the absorption of calcium. Say suppose there is no vitamin D, and you are just taking calcium, then it goes into your intestines and then it has to get absorbed. So if you are taking 10, one might get absorbed. But if you are supplementing it with vitamin D, it might help you absorb about 5 to 6 out of 10. So that is the efficiency of vitamin D, and that is how it is related to calcium. So without vitamin D, calcium supplementing is not.
It's bones also helps in bones.
Yeah, once there is calcium absorbed, then it goes to bones. There the requirement of bone will be met. If not, bone is asking for calcium, but there is nothing, not enough of calcium in your bone. That is what happens to it. That leads to weakening of bones. Okay. Coming to other diet like junk food, we say. So what is all junk food? Everybody likes junk food. Doctors will suggest everyone not to take anything, but outside we also will be doing the same. So what is junk food according to you? Maybe it's required. Okay, it can be considered in excess amounts.
It's rich in carbs.
Carbs, yes. Oil, and then what gives you that taste, craving? What makes you feel have it more and more? Is there anyone who can eat only one chips? If you have a packet in your hand, you taste one chips. You stop there. No. What makes you crave for more?
Spice.
Spice, salt. Salt is what makes it more tastier. All the junk foods. So basically what you can call a junk food is whichever is very rich in salt, sugars or glucose and fats. So these are tasteness. So all these people who are selling junk food, they know that our cravings will be like this. So they are utilizing that to sell their product. KFC, McDonald's, these Lays, all these chips, including these beverages, Coca-Colas. So they're all rich in very much, all these beverages will have very high sugar content. So it gives you a different taste and feel. So it makes you eat more and more. But it is not providing the basic nutrients or minerals or vitamins which is essential for the body. So let's say what happens acutely when acute is in a short duration or in a few weeks. What happens if you eat junk food and what happens if you keep on eating it for long durations. So when you eat a small packet of chips, let's say only chips, so it has a lot of salt. So salt is, there is sudden influx of salt and then salt tries to pull away the water from your blood vessels. So there is narrowing of blood vessels because of loss of hydration, there is thinning. So when there is thinning, the pressure increases within the blood vessel. So there is water gushing through a big pipe. Flows freely. If there is a narrow pipe and there is a big tank to be emptied through that pipe, there is a lot of pressure. Now you can just imagine this to be like traffic jams. A narrow road, a lot of vehicles. So it is very slow. Wide road like highways, all vehicles go fast. So now when there is salt, too much of salt, it takes away all the water and narrows the blood vessels. And there is a narrowing. Because of this, the heart has to pump through these narrow vessels. It has to work hard. Because body requires oxygen and all this oxygen from the lungs has to be pumped through the blood in these narrow channels. So acutely you will feel good when you eat junk food. But immediately after say 2-3 hours you will start feeling fatigued and tired because there is excessive energy consumption by the body organs. Even though you are not doing anything, you start feeling tired. Let us say you will not stop at chips. If you take a junk meal, it will be usually combined with a lot of sweet items or desserts along with salty items. Now along with the finger chips, which is salty items, you have this burgers. So this releases sudden glucose in your body. So you start feeling very good. Like brain is also basically confused that I am getting a lot of energy and glucose. So when that happens, for a short while, there is sudden increase of glucose levels in your blood. So to bring it down or to keep it under normal, the pancreas starts releasing insulin. So when this happens, all the glucose in the blood is pumped back into the cells for energy consumption, conversion of glucose into energy. So when that happens, your feel is very good. You feel elevated, you will have a lot of energy. But suddenly so much of glucose is there, everything is pumped out. So there is no glucose left. So you start feeling tired within 2-3 hours. Whereas if you take a healthy meal, there is a slow release of glucose and then slow consumption. So there is a durability, work action durability extends. You might have seen agriculturists eating 1 or 2 ragi balls, working throughout the day. They don't feel tired because there is a slow release. In our side, they use these rotis and all. So it's a slow release of glucose into the body, and then that gets adjusted. If you're a regular junk food consumer, there is a lot of variations happening like this: sudden increase in pressure, sudden increase in glucose, sudden production of insulin, then decrease in glucose. So basically, there is a insult to these organs. They are not knowing what to do. They are not understanding your food habits. They are functioning erratically. So on the long term, they get affected. So that is how diabetes, one is going to have diabetes eventually. So these long-term effects will be there on the heart also. That is the reason you are seeing heart attacks in young age these days, because of all these irregular and salty foods. So this you have to avoid. And then you have to have a healthy balanced diet which is balanced with carbohydrates, proteins and fats. All of them are very much essential. It's not that I should not eat fats, I should not eat carbohydrates. So for carbohydrates, acute energy needs are met. Fats and proteins for long-term energy requirements is met. Okay. And coming to exercises, the importance of exercises during your for your body functions. Okay. Anybody involved in exercises, regular exercises, sports activities, sports, team or single and individual. Okay. So it depends. You can choose a sport activity which is suitable for your abilities. Some people will be like badminton, table tennis. These are all individually one person can play along with another person. The other kind of sports are team approaches. So how does a team approach help you? If you are not involved, you won't know. So if you are in a team, you are playing for a team. Let's say you are not playing, but you are pitching on to a team, say RCB. You are supporting RCB. So what does it do to you? You lose, your state of mind is different. If you win, your state of mind is different. Why does that happen? And what does it teach you? So if you are a team person, you know you have to help another person in your team, and you know you can take help. Now this UPSC is also kind of that sport. You need to help each other to grow. Okay. So if you are losing, you are learning that resilience, how to come back, how to win, how to make changes which help you to win these situations. So that's the reason exercises and sports involvement is very much essential. Whenever there is exercises, there is some chemicals which are released in our body, what is endorphins. It is why you feel good when you exercise. If you don't do, you can slowly go into depression. If you don't do any kind of physical activity, you slowly go into depression. And earlier, like some 30 years back, if you ask your grandparents, everyone will have about 8 to 10 children. So each one person will have different functions, because in those times agriculture was the main function or profession. So each one of them were physically active. Diseases were less, obesity was less, because they were actively involved. But now, 1 or 2 children, all machineries have come, work has come down, so income has increased, and people are involved into all these unhealthy habits, then long-term health effects. These things have to be kept on modifying. Pranayama. Prana is nothing but breath. Pranayama means exercises that will be your breathing functions. So if you are doing about 15 to 20 sets of it every day, your entire day remains very efficient and healthy. You won't feel tired, you won't feel fatigued. Your functions will be good. There is the importance of exercise. At least try to spend about 15 to 20 minutes. If not for 7 days, at least 3 to 4 days in a week will also be very beneficial. Okay. Anything else you want to know? We have covered almost all the this thing. any pain or any bodily dysfunctions, don't try to ignore them, thinking that it's a small thing. If it is persistent for more than 3 to 4 days, try to consult, see what is happening. Because on the long run, it can cause more issues that are more difficult to treat. In the acute case, when you get it identified, it becomes easy to treat and you can overcome it. If you have any questions, you can ask.
So what about sometimes when we don't have any activities, like for example, I'll give my example. So I finished my post-graduation and I'm preparing for civils and there is no physical activity. But all these years, every day I would go to college or school and come back. So there was some kind of movement. So even if you don't eat fats or consume more oil stuff and all, but even then when you sit in one place and study, there will be accumulation of more muscles on your body. Why is that?
Muscles will not accumulate. See, what happens is it's like putting more and spending less. So what you said, like you are going to college and coming back, that is a routine thing. It is not exercise. It's a routine thing. If you ask your mother, they will tell I am working throughout the day. It means that whatever they are doing, they think that it is the exercise. That is the routine. So there, your energy requirements are less. So if you go into college and coming back, your energy requirements are set at a certain standard. So that much of energy you are spending. If your food intake is also of that amount only, your body weight remains same. But when now, after post-graduation, you are sitting at one place, you are studying, but your food consumption remains same, your energy expenditure is less. You are sitting in a place, expenditure is less, accumulation is more. So muscles don't build. Muscles build with exercises and when there is resistance. You are working against something. As I said, if there is hypertension, which is high BP, the heart has to function against the pressure. So the heart muscle also starts building up. You will see that normal fist size is the heart size. So if there is hypertension and the heart keeps on pumping, it goes on increasing in size. It's like how you work out in the gym and increase your muscles. So just in the same way, heart also increases in its size. So when you are not doing that kind of exercises, there is not building of muscle doesn't happen. So what happens is all the energy, food intake is happening. This is getting absorbed, and then the liver converts it. Whatever is required, immediately the carbohydrates is utilized for energy consumption. What is not utilized is converted into fat through the liver, and this fat starts accumulating. Where does it accumulate? It accumulates basically in areas where there is not much of mobility in your body. Okay? Say in the abdomen. Why everyone develops abdomen as age advances is, in this age your demands, your expenses are more. You keep walking around, you play around, you do something wherein your energy is spent. But as age advances, your energy requirement is very less, but your consumption remains same or even more. So that starts accumulating. It gets converted into fat and then it starts accumulating in immobile areas, especially around the abdomen. And once it is full here, it starts accumulating in other immobile areas like here, under the neck, upper back. So these are the areas where fat starts accumulating. So whenever you consult a dietitian or a knee coach, what do they tell you to lose weight? How do they tell you to lose weight? Exercise. It's not just exercise. It's about what your intake, food intake, what kind of foods you are taking. Basically, proteins are essential. So you can take proteins instead of carbohydrates. You can minimize carbohydrates and take proteins. Proteins help in muscle building. And when the muscles are not getting enough glucose, because let's say you are eating sugars of 10%, proteins and fats. Now you are bringing your 30% of carbohydrates back down to 10. But the remaining 20, what is required for the body, it has to get to function. So what does it do? It converts the fat, whatever is there in your body, that fat is converted into glucose. So it starts dissolving slowly. So when you are not giving enough carbohydrates, the body utilizes the reserves, what we call as reserve energy. So the fat is consumed. Gradually your fat goes down. But if you are consuming carbohydrates and if you are exercising, that will not help reduce your body weight. Okay? But bring down your sugars and then increase your protein and fat, and then keep doing these same exercises. So your energy is spent. You are not eating food, and if you are doing any exercises, as I said, the body will try to utilize the reserves. That is how the body weight comes down. When you don't do anything, and even if you are taking the same amount of food, it starts accumulating. That is how the body weight increases. Okay.
What is like the obesity?
Obesity is accumulation of fat everywhere. Body mass index, you might have heard about BMI. Body mass index is whatever your height is in centimeters. So the square of it divided by the weight. So it should be normally averaging between 21 to 25. If it is 25 to 30, it is obese. 30 to 40 is morbid, and beyond 40 is moribund. Moribund obesity is all your body functions are so badly affected. Sitting also becomes difficult, breathing becomes difficult. So there is so much of fat all around. The lungs are unable to push it down. So that amount of fat is. So your intake of air is also reduced. Intake of oxygen is less. And heart has to utilize whatever oxygen is there, that only it has to utilize to pump your entire body. And when there is obesity, it's like a big factory you have constructed. So the energy, the requirement is more. So you have to pump oxygen to all these fat tissues also to make it sustain. So that puts a lot of load on the heart. That is why obese people are more subjected for heart attacks and other things because of these issues.
What is the reason behind you will get a pain here? What is the back? Posture related
It's
or
upper back pain. Mainly postural. As I said, when you are stooping down like this, our muscles are not evolved to hold on to the weight. See, basically, there is. Please tell me. There is a muscle called as trapezius. What is the trapezium? So the shape is like this. It's not a rectangle, neither a square. But two sides are equal and two sides are longer. So that's the trapezius. So there is a muscle in the back called as trapezius. Okay? So it starts from the mid back, stand straight in there. So it starts from here, goes like this, and from here, what we see here, this muscle, it goes and gets attached here. So the same half comes from here, goes here, and then comes here. So this shape is called as trapezius. So traps in the head, when you are doing gym or working out, the traps in the head. So that is trapezius. You are building the muscle here. So this muscle is holding your neck along with other nuchal muscles. There is a thick fascia. So fascia is a layer. So that is holding on to your entire weight of your head. If you are like this, there is not much of load on these muscles. But if you are like this, it is constantly holding. Suppose you are trying to fall down and I am holding. There is a lot of responsibility on this muscle. So just that way, your neck is falling down, but that muscle is trying to hold it back. So how long can it hold? For a few minutes. After that, it starts getting tired. So that is what, when it tires, either you leave it or you start crying. That is what the muscle starts crying. It causes pain. So what to do to improve it? To improve the strength of that muscle. How do you do it? Like shoulder, this muscle we have to increase the strength of it. We have to do shreds. Shreds is to lift it up like this. You can use weights in your hands. Try to lift it up like that. Bring it down. Lift it. Bring it down. And back exercises also can be done by pulling weights down, up, down. Without weight also you can do it. But the number of exercises that you need to improve the muscle strength will be more. With the resistance when you are doing, there is some weights which are acting onto these muscles will build up and the strength becomes faster. These are very essential. Neck extension exercises also like backward movements, like doing this and turning onto either sides. This you can do with resistance also. You can just keep your hands backwards like this, try to give some resistance and try to push it backwards with your neck muscles. So that will improve your strength of the muscle and it tries to hold your neck in a more efficient way without being subjected to fatigue.
So we use a lot of pain relief gels and all. How does it actually work?
You should tell me. Suppose there is an injury in your hand, what is your immediate response? Suppose something falls onto your head or just gets crushed in between something. What is your immediate response? No, so something you just try to close the door, your finger gets crushed. what do you do? At least you take it back, and then what do you do? Start doing this. Does this heal your injury? This moment?
No.
But do you feel the pain is less when you do this? Why does that happen? If your injury is there, it's a reflex. You don't want to do this, but you start doing it without your knowledge. You just start doing this. What happens when you do that? Injury is still there, but you don't feel much of pain when you do this.
Muscles are relaxed.
No.
It gives
See,
information
if
to
you
the
don't do,
brain.
there is signals, pain signals. It's called as nociceptors. Nociceptors are receptors which pick up pain signals from the, there are nerves here. So these nerves pick up your pain signals and it is sent to the brain to sense the pain. Pain is always protective. It is telling you to avoid something. Say there is fire or warmth or heat, and you put your hand there. By reflex you take it back. It's a nociceptor's job. So it is telling you it is harmful, don't go there. So these pain sensations are masked when you do certain movements. When you do this, there are a lot of signals going on to the brain. So brain is confused from where so many signals are coming. It is now perceiving the which is more. So there is pain from one finger, but there is movement from all your fingers and all the wrist and your entire upper limb. So these amount of signals are going there. So pain is masked and these signals are perceived by the brain. The same thing happens when you are using ointments. So ointments, it gives you a burning sensation. More than the pain, it gives you burning sensation and it will have some, all ointments or oils what they are used for massages or applications, it will have a counter irritant. Irritant is it burns your skin. It gives you a burning sensation and it will have menthol. Menthol will give you cooling effect. So suppose there is a pain here. If you apply ointment here, you still feel this pain also, you feel this also. But if there is pain here and you apply ointment in this entire area, so many signals of burning sensation and cooling effect, all are going to the brain. So pain is not perceived much for about 15-20 minutes. Once the ointment is gone, again you will start feeling the pain. So it's a temporary thing. But what we think is, we think that this ointment is going to go inside, is going to heal everything. So that is a wrong thing. It's basically a counter-irritant. It's a temporary thing. But if you apply at intervals, say about every 2-3 hours, if you keep applying, you won't know the pain much. So your tissues are getting enough time to heal without you perceiving the pain. Okay?
When we are sitting in the water, sir, the hand will hold, sir, or leg will hold, sir.
Hold is like
Yes,
tight.
yes,
That is cramps. If you regularly do it, you will not have it. Along with the good, as I said, there should be enough calcium intake. All our muscle functions are dependent on electrolytes, sodium, potassium, chloride and calcium. So if these are inadequate, our body functions are affected. So it is telling I am not good, it is cramping. It is telling you to stop. Okay? You might have seen athletes or even cricketers, they will be running, suddenly there will be a muscle cramp, they won't be able to do anything. They take a helper. The same way, when you are doing certain activities, when the demands are not met, so it is telling you to stop by cramping. It will not be there for a long time. If you rest for a few seconds also, the cramp comes down, the muscle relaxes and then the pain comes down. That's why if you might have seen these sports people drinking juices, especially tennis players, they take bananas. Along with fruit juices and banana. Banana is very much rich in potassium. So this is very much essential for our muscle functions. So it gets absorbed very quickly and is supplied to the required muscle. Thereby the cramp effect comes down. So but if you keep doing it, your muscle knows you are going to swim for half an hour every day. It gets adjusted. Say you are not doing it for 3 or 6 months, suddenly you see a swimming pool, you jump into it, try to do for more than 1 or 2 hours, it is shocked because it is not used to that kind of activity. Suddenly when you start doing it, it gets cramped. So hydration is very important, enough water consumption for the muscle functions and enough electrolytes. You can have fruit juices and another, they will give you enough antioxidants, minerals and vitamins. Antioxidants are compounds which counter the injuries in the muscle. Injuries are not like cut or anything. Even excessive usage or excessive exercising will also cause muscle injury. So it needs certain time for recovery. which is provided by rest and these kind of nutrients.
And so some doctors will suggest whoever having a back pain, better to sleep on the floor than sleep on the bed.
I told you about spring mattresses and air mattresses. Spring mattresses, it will have spring kind of things all over. When you sleep, equally it should go down, but that doesn't happen. Where there is more weight, it goes down. Where there is less weight, it keeps you up. So that is a wrong posture. Whereas a firm mattress, it will not take your shape. It will keep you flat. So if you are lying down on a floor, it doesn't matter at all. Nothing is going to change. The floor is going to remain the same. Your body positions are going to change. That's all. So we say it is good. But if there is not enough of cushioning or if there is not enough of fat or muscle in your body, it starts pressure effects will be seen on the bony areas. For example, this area, these areas. Wherever there is bone, the ankle, middle and lateral aspects. So wherever there is pressure, there will be skin changes happening. So always a soft, firm cushion is better than directly lying down on the floor. Or you can use multiple mats on the floor and you can sleep. Thing is, you just have to avoid these kind of air mattresses and for spring mattresses. That will improve your sleep also. Yes.
When you're sitting in good position or right position, then also be getting pain on legs and back.
I told you, it's not like you have to sit for that long duration. Every 20 minutes, you have at least 20 to 40 minutes, you have to get up, stretch yourself and sit back. When you are sleeping, you don't know what is happening. You are sleeping. Do you get up in the same position the way you are slept?
No,
No, no. Why does that happen? You are programmed. Your brain is programmed like that. Any pressure for more than half an hour to 40 minutes, the brain sends signals to change your position. Suppose there is not much enough space for all of you to sit. So you are all cramped up in a small space, let us say like that. So you are supposed to sit on the floor with your cross leg. How long can you sit? There is nothing wrong, no? You can sit. But why you can't sit? The brain is telling you that your space is not inadequate or your posture is wrong. In the same way when you are sleeping also, you are programmed in such a way that you keep changing your positions. Either you turn to your right or left or you turn prone. And then you keep changing so that the muscles are in positions and there is enough circulation of blood to all your muscles. In the same way, when you are sitting, as I said, sitting in a wrong posture and doing movements is better than sitting in a good posture and not doing movements. Okay? That will also cause all the fatigue. So every half an hour to 45 minutes, you have to get up, stretch yourself, bend, turn this side, turn that side for 5 minutes, and then you can sit back to the same position. Okay?
So if you are working in factories or any place,
Yes.
we do repetitive jobs.
Ah.
That year long we will be doing it. So we have to do the work. There's no stop or
There is no stopping, but we have to optimize as much as
Yeah, how
possible.
to do that?
So that is by realigning our body. For example, if you have to do something like this, say you are a IT professional, you have to hold your mouse like this, you are doing like this. So here in this position, these tendons or muscles on this side are contracted, they have become short, whereas on this side it is long. Okay? What do? You hold the mouse like this, keep it neutral. Try to do such changes in all your whatever work you are doing. Try to keep them neutral. The more it is neutral, the better. Whenever there is abnormality, on one side there is tightening and one side there is lengthening. This leads to repetitive stress injuries. And in between, it's difficult to tell. I mean, easy to tell, difficult to follow. If you are in a profession which demands your activities in that way, as much as possible, we need to readjust our postures. Even small thing also matters. Even small finger, if you are repeatedly using, who are handling, say for example, weavers, threads, or they are continuously doing those jobs. So it is inevitable for them. But we have to try to optimize as much as possible to keep it in neutral position.
These repetitive jobs if we do, so we will be doing continuously without pain. Once pain starts only, we will know that we are doing wrong.
No, it's not wrong. It is overusage of the same job or position. As I said, it is inevitable. If you have to run your family, they have to work in that way. So it does have an effect on your body. For example, even sports people, we feel that they are earning too much, but we don't know what they are going through. You might have heard of all the many people undergoing surgeries and all. That is because of repetitive injuries. That a bowler, he keeps throwing the ball always. So there are a lot of issues in the shoulder which we don't know. You will just see that this time Bumrah is not there, so team is weak. That is because we don't know that he is undergoing such repetitive injuries and he is requiring surgery and he is resting. Many people lose their careers also. If permanent damage is there, he might not come back to bowling at all. So his profession only changes. So you have to keep it in that limited amount. Anything that is done excessively will have an effect on your small body issues. So in that way you have to change. Any other doubts you have? Okay. So you can, if there is any this thing, questions or doubts if you have, you can just inform Shimon. He will be in touch with me.
Thank you, Doctor. Doctor has his own hospital called as Cosin Care. So if you need any help or any suggestions, you can
You can directly search it.
And he's also on Instagram, YouTube, website, everything's there. You can search.
Educative videos are there.
Educative, lot of videos are there.
As we discussed now, there are a lot of educative videos of different issues. You can just go through them whenever required. For UPSC, you might not need all medical listing, but whenever required, you can go through. Or if you have any doubts, you can just directly go to the website, you can approach me.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.